Okay, so we're going to start feet together, turning toes out, followed by heels. Just looking down at your feet, make sure they're tracking straight and parallel to each other. Soft through the knees, hips facing forward, shoulders round and down, and ears over the shoulders. So placing the hands on the hips, and we're just going to rock that pelvis forward and back. So just the pelvis, keeping the upper body still, flattening through the lumbar spine and arching through the lumbar spine. Good. A couple more times, just stretching out that back as well as you come into the back extension. And then finding the halfway point between the two, nice neutral spine position. Hands over the rib cage, shoulders down the back. Deep breath in through the nose, feel the rib cage expanding, and out through the mouth. And again, nice deep breath in through the nose. Try not to breathe into those shoulders, keep those shoulders down. So while you continue with this deep lateral breathing, I want you to imagine that belt around your waist, drawing the sides towards each other and belly button back towards the spine. And at the same time, feel those pelvic floor muscles like a lift coming up. 1, 2, 3. So time is through the whole abdominal core region, but you can keep with that deep lateral breathing without it being restricted. So relaxing the arms down by your side, and we'll start with the forward shoulder rolls. Nice big rolls, releasing any tightness in those shoulders. Nice deep breaths. Good. One more time, forward, and then we're going to reverse, so up to the ears, over the mountain, and down the other side. Good. Squeezing those shoulder blades together. Good. And again, one more time, and then we're relaxing those shoulders, sliding them down the back. Good. So floating the arms out to the side. Once you get above the shoulders, lock those shoulder blades down the back as we reach the hands to the ceiling. Just check the shoulders are down, so shrug them up and down and check the shoulders are away from the ears. On the out breath, push the air away as you bring the arms back down. Good. In breath, locking those shoulders down the back as we reach the arms up towards the ceiling, shoulders away from the ears. Out breath, push the air away as we bring the arms back down. So locking those elbows into your side, palms towards the ceiling. And we're going to open those arms out, the hands out to the side, and squeeze those shoulder blades together at the back. And then closing back up again. Good. So on the in breath, squeezing those shoulder blades together at the back. Out breath to close. Good. One more time. In breath, squeezing those shoulder blades together at the back. And out breath, closing back up. So arms down by your side, palms facing away from you. We're going to float the hands up just above the head. Elbows to shoulder height with soft elbows, locking the shoulders down the back, and we're floating back down again. Good. On the in breath, we're floating the hands up just above the head. We're going to interlock the hands behind the head, shrug those shoulders up to your ears, draw the shoulder blades down the back, and then squeeze those elbows together. So you're squeezing those shoulder blades together at the back. Float the arms out to the side and relaxing them back down again. Good. One more time. On the in breath, we're floating the hands up. Interlock them behind the head. Shrug the shoulders up to your ears. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. Squeeze those shoulder blades together behind you. Float the arms open and out to the side. Good. So interlocking the hands behind you, turn them inside out. Now squeeze those shoulder blades together because we're opening up through the chest, so don't tip forward as you do it. Lift the hands up away from the glutes and feel that nice stretch through your pecs. Watch your rib cage, don't let the rib cage pop out, keep it centered. Breathing through that. Then relaxing the hands down, keep them interlocked, then relax them back to the glutes. And we're going to drop left ear to left shoulder, draw the right shoulder down the back, breathing through the stretch. One more breath in and out, and coming back to the center again. So dropping right ear to right shoulder, left arm down the back. And again, just gently breathing through that stretch. One more breath. And coming back up to the center again. Again, keeping those shoulder blades squeezed together at the back. Drop the chin to the chest. Feel that stretch down the back of the neck. And coming back up to the center again. Relax those hands and shrug those shoulders off. Good. So into the side bend, keeping those knees soft, left hand down, right arm up. We're lengthening through the waist and then over into the left side bend. Don't let that hip slide out, keep it centered and opening up through that right side. Good. In breath to center, and we're changing arms, lengthening through the waist and over into the right side bend. And again, feel that opening of the left side. And in breath to center, back up again. So we're just going to start to rotate to the back of the wall, left and right. And at the same time, just wrapping those arms around your body. Not forcing anything. As you start to feel a little bit warmer, then you can start to increase that stretch a little bit. Pushing the hip forward. So if you're turning to the right, push that right hip forward. As you turn to the left, push that left hip forward. Good. One more time to each side, and then coming back to the center again. And hopefully you're not feeling too dizzy, because we're going to stand on one leg now. Okay, so placing the hands on the hips. So we're working, I'm just going to move the mat forward slightly. We're working with standing on the one leg, and the reason for this work is to fire up these glutes, which are stabilizing muscles when we walk. So it's really important that they're doing their job correctly. You need to hold a wall or something, that's fine. So we're going to lift the right heel up off the floor, keep the toe down. So firstly, we're going to think about the hip level. Make sure that you don't hitch the hip up when you lift that right foot up. Then we're going to think about that left foot. So we want a nice broad foot with the left, so the one that's staying on the ground. The knee a little bit soft. I want you to imagine roots coming out of the sole of the foot. And I want you to focus on what that left foot does as we start to move this right leg. Okay? So we're just going to slide that right leg forward. Think what that left foot is doing. You're rolling on the outside or the inside of that left foot and sliding back. And again, slide the right foot forward and sliding back in again. Now we're going to lift it slightly, so we're floating the right leg forward. Feel what that left leg is doing, or left foot is doing. And we're floating it back in again. One more time, float the leg forward and sliding it back. Take the toe to the floor again. We're going to slide the leg out to the side. Now you're going to want to roll onto the inside of that left foot. So think about keeping towards the outside and slide it back in. Slide the right foot to the side. Think about that hip level and slide back in again. Good. Now we're going to try and float it out. Good. Think about what that left foot is doing. And one more time, floating that right foot out to the side and floating back in again. So we're going to take the leg back now. This time, keep the left knee soft. Slide that right leg back. Think what the left foot is doing and sliding it forward again. Good. One more time, slide it along the floor and sliding back forward. Now, if you come, we're going to try and float that leg back. Think what you're doing with that left foot. Imagine the roots. One more time, floating that right leg back And coming back, we're going to take the right leg back down. Just circle those hips up. You're probably finding you're burning a bit through that left glute. That's all quite normal, as long as it's like I'm working and no major discomfort through there. Lifting up through that left heel, think of the pelvis staying level. Roots growing out of the nice broad right foot that's staying centered into the floor. And we're going to slide that left leg forward and slide it back up again. Good. So thinking all the time what that right foot is doing and sliding back in. Now we're going to float that left leg forward and floating back in again. Good. One more time. Float that leg forward. Whoops. And floating back in. So we're taking the left foot back to the floor and we're going to slide it along the floor out to the side. See what happens with that right foot. And slide back in. Slide that left foot out and slide it back in again. Now we're going to lift it slightly and floating it out to the side and floating back in. Good, one more time, floating out to the side, whoops, floating back in. So taking that left foot to the floor and slide it along the floor, we're going to slide it back. Remember, stay soft through that right knee and sliding it back up again, good. On the out breath, we're going to slide that left leg back and sliding it forward again. Now we're going to try and float it back. Think about that right foot staying completely broad and centered. And one more time, floating that right leg back and bring that left foot back to the floor. Oh, burning. Yeah, you can give them a good old tap. Excellent. Okay, so when you're ready now, we're going to come to the ends of the mat. We're going to come into our roll down. So again, soft knees, core engaged, drawing the belly button to spine, soft through the shoulders and neck. Deep breath in through the nose. As we breathe out, we're going to drop chin to chest and we're peeling the vertebra off the wall behind you. One at a time, arms hanging, head hanging, slowly articulating through each vertebra joint as we come down to the toes. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to scoot belly button to spine. We're rounding back up. Keep the knees soft. So we're stacking the vertebra one at a time. Come up to standing, roll those shoulders back. Good. One more time, deep breath in, draw the belly button to spine. As you breathe out, chin to chest. And we're peeling the vertebra off the wall behind you. Arms hanging, head hanging. Feeling that articulation through each vertebra joint. This time we're either going to hook the fingers underneath the toes, place the hands flat onto the floor, and we're going to straighten through the right knee, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and soften, straightening through the left knee, head hanging, shoulders down the back. 2, 1, and soften. Now we're straightening through both knees, so feeling the stretch at the calves, the hamstrings, shoulders down the back. Breathing through that stretch. Soften through the knees. We're going to walk the hands forward and we're coming down onto all fours. Good. So, wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Just thinking about the inside of your shoulder, of your elbows. Try and get those inside elbows to face each other. You might find you do it automatically. Some people might find that the inside face is straight, so turn them towards each other. Draw the belly button to spine, so we're in a nice neutral spine position, and we're working with the shoulder drop. So we're just going to drop down between the shoulder blades. Feel the shoulder blades sliding towards each other And then we're lifting out of the shoulders and broadening those shoulder blades. Good. So in breath, we're dipping down between just the shoulder blades. The lumbar spine doesn't change position. And lifting back out of those shoulders again. One more time on the in-breath. So we're just trying to get some movement through those shoulder blades, through the scapula, and lifting back out again. So we're going to go into the cat stretch now. So we're rounding the thoracic back up to the ceiling. Lengthen tail and crown. Feet on through into that back extension. So take the eyes to the ceiling. In breath, rounding thoracic back up to the ceiling. On the out breath, lengthen tail and crown, feeding on into that back extension. Good. In breath, rounding thoracic back up to the ceiling. On the out breath, lengthen tail and crown. Hold that back extension. Just breathe through that. And then we're just going to flex the back off one more time. And coming back to your neutral spine position. Brilliant. If you're uncomfortable on your wrists, you can, of course, come down onto the forearms. We're going into the hip drop. So we're going to drop the hips to the right. Look over your left shoulder towards your feet. In breath to center. And then we're going to drop the hips over to the left. Looking over your right shoulder to your feet. Don't push it too much the first couple of times. Each time you can slowly increase the amount you drop those hips down. Good. We're doing 2 more to each side. Just enjoying that nice stretch. You might find one side is more uncomfortable than the other. Just telling you where you've got any tightness in that lower back, in that pelvis. Coming back to the center, we're going to sit back on your heels. If that isn't comfortable, of course, stay lifted and walk the hands forward. And breathing through that stretch. Now, if you are sitting on your heels, I want you to lift the glutes up away from your heels and walk the hands forward just to increase that stretch through that lower back. Good. Okay. And then we're going to sit back on those heels. We're going to round back up. Imagine that ball inflating underneath your belly button. And we're coming back onto all fours again. Good. So calf stretch. Slide that left foot back. Tuck that left toe underneath you. Try not to hitch that hip. Keep that hip down. Push back through the hands again. You can do this on forearms if your wrists are uncomfortable. And take the heels to the floor. Good. Feeling that stretch through the calf there. Back of the head in line with the spine. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slide that left knee in. Good. On the out breath, we're sliding that right leg back. Tuck the toe underneath you. Push back through the hands. Heel to the floor. Think about that right hip staying down. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and sliding that right knee in. Brilliant. So into the leg and arm raise. Now we're starting right arm forward, left leg back. Again, think about the hip staying down and don't hitch the shoulder. And then we're reaching forward and back as we come into that leg and arm raise. Brilliant. Lower back down and sliding back in. Trying not to shift that weight from one side to the other. Left arm forward, right leg back. Reaching. Now think of strong core. Grow out of the shoulders slightly. Good. Lower back down and sliding back in. Trying not to shift the weight. Right arm forward, left arm back. Reaching forward and back. This time we're going to progress it to take it to the side. Jane Thomas, you're working hard enough on a board, just doing it straight. back to the center, lower back down, and sliding back in. Good. Left arm forward, right leg back. Keep the shoulder and hip down, and then out to the side. Don't let the body twist. Keep the body centered. Back to the center, lower back down, and sliding back in. Good. One more time. Right arm forward, left leg back. Reaching forward and back. This time, we're going to draw the left knee forward, drop the head to the knee, and lengthen back away again. One more time with that left knee. Draw it forward, drop the head to the knee, and lengthen away again. Perfect. Lower back down and sliding that in. So left arm forward, right leg back, reaching forward and back, and then slide that right knee forward, drop the head to the knee, and lengthening back away again. Good. One more time. On the in breath, drop the head to the knee, out breath, lengthening back away again, lower back down, slide the knee back in. We're going to sit back on our heels. So Jane Thomas, if you want to come down and sit with the legs out in a V. So we're going to open our knees out into a V, keep the big toes together. Then we're going to walk the hands forward. Now again, if you can stay sitting on your heels, great. If not, stay lifted and just walk the hands forward. Okay, we're going to walk the hands round to the left, reaching that right arm away from you, trying to keep the weight down towards your heels and feel that lovely opening stretch through the right side. In breath to center, back up again, and then we're going to walk round to the right, reaching that left arm away from you, keeping the weight towards your heels. Feel that lovely stretch through the left side. Come back to the center and then walk the hands back, rounding back up, stacking that spine. Come back to sitting on your heels. We're going to come back to sitting on the mat. Come to the front of the mat so you've got the mat rolling away behind you. Sitting up tall, crown of the head to the ceiling, shoulders down the back. Brilliant. So on the in-breath, we're going to draw the belly button to spine, and then as we breathe out, we're C-curving that lumbar spine, but keep the shoulders relaxed. We're going to come all the way down to the mat. So lumbar spine, thoracic, take the head down, reach the arms over your head, feet are lengthened away, flex through the feet, and just feel the lengthening out of the hips. Maybe push one heel and then the other heel away. Relaxing that lumbar spine. So as you breathe, just try to relax the back down into the mat. Good. So we're going to bend those knees now, hip width apart. Bring the hands down by your side. So the heels are about 1.5 hands width away from the glute. Knees and feet are hip width apart. Relaxing the arms down by your side, shoulders down the back. So the neutral, finding our neutral spine, we're going to imagine the marble on your belly button. You're going to roll the marble down towards your feet. So you're rolling that pelvis forward, arching through the lumbar spine. As you do that, you're going to take your chin up towards the ceiling. Then we're going to start to flatten through the lumbar spine, so rolling the marble up towards the breastbone and slide the chin towards your chest, so you're getting the lengthening through the back of the neck. The head is staying on the floor at all times, so we're rolling the pelvis forward, chin towards the ceiling. On the out breath, flattening through the back and chin towards the chest. Good. One more time. In breath, roll the pelvis forward. Take the chin up towards the ceiling. On the out breath, we're flattening through the lumbar spine and lengthening through the back of the neck. Take the chin towards the chest. And we're going to float the right and the left arm up towards the ceiling, shoulders down the back. Good. So imagine you're plucking an apple from the tree with the right arm. So you're reaching the right arm up towards the ceiling. As you lower the right shoulder, slide that shoulder blade down your back. Good. Reaching up with that left arm to the ceiling. As you lower it to the mat, slide the shoulder blade down the back. Reaching that right arm up to the ceiling. This time you're going to bring the right arm over to the left. Follow the hand with the head. You're taking the hand towards, as far towards the floor as you can get without forcing it. Good. Reach it back up to the ceiling again. And as you lower the shoulder, slide the shoulder blade down your back. Reaching up with that left arm now. Bring that left arm over to the right side. Follow the hand with the head. Think about keeping that rib cage down. Breathing through that stretch behind the left shoulder blade. Taking the arm back up to the ceiling again, and as you lower it, slide the shoulder blade down your back. So palms facing away from you. We're going to take right arm up above the head onto the floor, left hand down by your feet. Think about that rib cage staying down. Don't let that back pop out. So dragging the fingers on the floor, we're going to bring the arms out to the side like a windmill, ending up with the left arm up, right arm down, and floating back up to the ceiling again. On the out breath, we're going to take left arm up, right arm down, dragging the fingers on the floor like a windmill, finishing with the right arm up above the head, left arm down, and floating back up to the ceiling, shoulders down the back. So relaxing the arms down by your side now, coming up into the shoulder bridge position. So deep breath in, draw the belly button to spine. On the out breath, we're curling that pelvis up off the mat, peeling the vertebrae, squeezing through the glutes, pushing forward through the front of the thigh as we come up into the shoulder bridge position. Hips are lifted, rib cage down. Check this, no tension in the shoulders or the neck. Just turn the head from left to right. And then on the out breath, we're going to come back down, one vertebra at a time, keeping that pelvis curled up until the end. Good. Deep breath in. As we breathe out, we're curling that pelvis up off the mat, squeezing through the glutes, peeling the vertebra one at a time as we come up into the shoulder bridge position. Hips lifted, rib cage down. We're working with our glute squeezes here, so we're going to drop the hips 2 centimeters and squeeze them back up. For 9, and squeeze. 8, and squeeze. Make sure it's just the hips, not the rib cage you're pushing up. 6, and squeeze. 5, and lifting those hips. 4, squeezing those glutes. 3, and squeeze. If you're not feeling it in those glutes, you want to squeeze and lift a bit higher. For 2, last one, and we're coming back down. One vertebra at a time, keeping the pelvis curled up until the end. Good. One more time. Now, if you're feeling it in an uncomfortable way, don't hold it for the 10 squeezes. So do 5 and come back out of it. Deep breath in. As we breathe out, we're curling that pelvis, peeling the vertebra one at a time as we come up into the shoulder bridge position. Hips lifted, rib cage down. And we're dropping and squeezing through the glutes. For 9, speeding it up a bit. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, Last one, we're coming back down, one vertebra at a time, keeping the pelvis curled up until the end. We're going to hug those knees into your chest, rock from side to side, and just loosen that back off. Good. Okay, so taking the feet back down to the mat one at a time, keeping the knees and feet hip width apart, taking the arms out to the side, shoulders down the back. So into the wringing out the washing, keeping the hands on the floor, we're going to roll the right hand back and roll the left hand forward. And then just working with the breath, we're just going to change. So rolling one arm forward, one arm back. Start to notice that the one shoulder lifts up away from the mat, the other one gets pushed down into the mat. And we're going to start to turn the head towards the one that is staying into the mat. Good, so just turning the head from left to right as you slide the one arm forward, the one arm back. Once you start to get the rhythm of that, we're then going to start to drop the knees in the opposite direction to the head. So in breath to center, out breath again to drop the knees opposite direction. Now we're not stacking the feet are staying hip width apart. We're just rolling onto the edges of the feet. Nothing is particularly forced, but allowing those knees to drop, head to turn, in breath to center, out breath. Good. And again, just enjoying this lovely stretching of the body. We're doing one more time to each side. Good. Finishing with the right, well, whichever side you started. Sorry, we all started on different sides. And coming back to the center again. We're placing the hands onto the hips. And again, we're working with the pelvic stability here. Okay, so check the level pelvis here, just lying on your back. So whatever we do now with the leg, we don't want the hips to change position. So if we're going to start with the right leg, we don't want that right hip dropping. If you feel the right hip dropping, then you need to squeeze through that right glute to center you back up again. So keeping those hips level, we're going to drop that right leg knee out to the side without the hip dropping open. And then sliding the outside of the foot, we're going to lengthen the leg away from you. Now again, don't let that hip drop down and open. Keep that right glute squeezed. When the leg's at full length, you're going to center that foot back up again. Now watching your lumbar spine and your lower abdominals, we're floating that right leg up into tabletop. Good. So from tabletop now, of course, if you've got back issues or it's uncomfortable with your hip, take the foot back to the floor. Otherwise, squeezing through the right glute, we're going to drop that right hip out to the side. Don't let that hip drop. Lengthen the leg away from you, keeping that right hip lifted. Center the foot back up, and then we're floating back to tabletop. Think about your lumbar spine. Good. One more time. Float that right knee out to, or open the right knee out to the side. Keep lifted through the right hip. Slide the leg away from you. Center the foot back up. Think about what your lumbar spine is doing as you float that right leg back up to tabletop. So lowering the right foot to the floor. We're going to drop that left knee open. Keep that left leg, that left hip lifted. And then we're going to slide that left leg so along the outside of that left foot. Don't let that left hip drop down. Center the foot back up and keeping the lumbar spine imprinted, we're floating the leg back to tabletop. Excellent. So from tabletop, Opening that left knee out to the side. Don't let that left hip drop. Lengthen the leg away from you, keeping lifted through that left side. Center the foot back up and floating back to tabletop, thinking what that lumbar spine is doing. One more time. Keep that left hip lifted. We're opening the left knee out to the side. Lengthen it away. Center the foot back up and floating that left leg back up to tabletop position. Excellent. We're going to hug that left knee into your chest. Slide the right leg away from you. Flex through the right foot, and I want you to push the heel away from you as you hug that left knee into your chest. Good. So just breathing through that stretch. Stretching out through that right hip flexor. We're taking the right hand onto the left knee, yeah. Drop the left hand down. Draw that knee up and over towards that right shoulder. Now you don't want to be coming up onto your right side. You will lift slightly though. And hugging. So you should be feeling the stretch either through the glutes or you might be feeling it down the outside of that left leg, whichever is tighter for you. Good. Breathing through that. Center that left leg back up. Take the foot to the floor, but keep that left knee bent. Draw the right knee up to your chest. Hug it in, and then you're going to push that left heel away from you as you lengthen the leg. Flexion through the foot, hug that knee into the chest. Breathing through that stretch. Good, and then you're going to take the left hand onto the right knee, drawing it up and over towards that left shoulder. Think about the back of your neck. Try and keep your chin towards your chest so you're getting the length through the back of the neck. Shoulders relaxed as we're breathing through this stretch. Good. We're going to center the knee back up. We're going to float that right leg to tabletop. Now, imprinting the lumbar spine, we're going to bring the left leg up to join it. So both legs are in tabletop. Try and get it so the knees are over the hips, okay? But keep that back at all times. That's the most important. That back does not lift up away from the mat. Both arms up towards the ceiling. We're going to toe tap. So pointing the toes, we're tapping the left foot to the floor. Left hand comes down, right arm up above the head and center. Good. So on the out breath, to lower, in breath to lift back up. Good. So for 2, we're thinking about that lumbar spine. Don't let that lumbar spine lift up. For 3, good. And 3, if you want to work harder, take that leg a little bit longer. For 4. And 4, good. Come to the center, we're flexing through the feet now, and we're heel tapping for 4. And 4, keep that core engaged, lumbar spine into the mat. 3. And 3, good. For 2. And 2, last ones. And lower. Good. Hug those knees in again. Rock from side to side. Excellent work. Take those knees shoulder width apart now, so nice and wide, and we're just going to rock again, just really opening up that pelvis. Good. So taking both feet one at a time back down to the mat, closing the knees and feet together. We're going to drop the knees out to the side so the soles of the feet come together. Place the hand onto the inner thigh and just breathing through that inner thigh stretch. Good. Think about that lumbar spine. Good, and we're closing those knees back up together again. Keep the knees and feet together, arms out to the side, palms to the ceiling. So controlling it through your core, so belly button drawn to spine. We're going to take both legs over to the right. Now we're going to we are stacking the feet here, so keeping those feet stacked, knees are stacked. Knees go to the right, the head goes to the left, and we're just going to hold it there. If you're feeling any tightness through that back, just breathe through it. Trying to relax those tight muscles. Then we're going to lengthen the left leg over the right knee, toe towards the floor. And again, just breathing through that lovely stretch through the glutes. If you're not feeling much of a stretch and your toe is on the floor, you can take your toe to the ceiling and heel to the floor. But that's only if you've got the toe down on the floor. Good. And then we're stacking knees and ankles again. Take the lumbar spine to the mat as we center back up. So on the out breath, control the movement. Both knees to the left, head goes to the right. Just breathing through that stretch. And then when you feel the back starts to ease, then you can lengthen that right leg over the left knee, toe towards the floor. Again, if you're not feeling much of a stretch, then you can take the toe to the ceiling, heel to the floor. Good, just breathing through that. Relaxing any tightness. And then we're stacking knees and ankles. Take the lumbar spine to the mat as we center back up again. Brilliant. So we're going to now float the left leg up into tabletop position. Now we're going to take both knees to the right, but I want you to keep a hand's width apart from the legs. So I don't want them collapsing on top of each other. On the out breath, again, control the movement through that core. We're going to lower both legs to the right. Head goes to the left. Don't let the legs touch. Keep that hand width apart. And then on the out breath, we're going to center back up again. Take the lumbar spine to the mat as you do that. We're changing legs. Right leg tabletop, left leg down. On the out breath, control the movement. We're taking both legs over to the left. Head goes to the right. On the out breath, take the lumbar spine to the mat as we center those legs back up again. Now, if you want to progress it, I would not do this. If you suffer with any lower back issues or hip issues, keep going with one foot down. But if you want to progress it, we're going to close the knees and feet together, both legs into tabletop, controlling the movement. We'll take both legs to the right, head goes to the left. Again, don't let those legs flop onto the floor. Keep them lifted. Take the lumbar spine to the mat as we center back up. Good. On the out breath, both legs to the left. So, Margaret, I want you to keep one leg down, yeah? That's it. I don't want you, otherwise it's going to pull on your back too much. Good. All right, so we're doing one more to each side. So if you're doing the one leg, just keep changing the one leg. If you're doing double leg, I want you to be very strict about that lumbar spine coming into the mat, so your core's doing the work. Good. So I think we all should be on about our last one now. Take that lumbar spine to the mat. We're going to hug those knees into your chest again. We're going to grab our bands and placing it around your right foot. Holding the band in your right hand. Good, and taking a good pull, so we're getting a nice stretch up through the hamstring, shoulders down the back, and just breathing through that hamstring stretch. If you're getting any uncomfortableness behind your knee, just bend that knee ever so slightly. Okay, now I'm going to open the right leg out to the side. Don't let that left side tip up. So you want to keep both sides down into the mat. Feel that stretch through that inner thigh there. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take that back up to the ceiling. Bend into your left hand. Now you're going to bring the right leg over to the left, so up and over, but don't lift that right side up. So keep that right side down into the mat. So you're bringing it up and over towards that left shoulder. For 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and center that back up again. Brilliant. We're changing legs. So left foot into the band, holding the band in your left hand. Nice pull on the band, getting that hamstring stretch. Breathing through that. Think about your shoulders staying relaxed. Back of the head lengthening along the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we're going to open that left leg out. Keep both sides down on the mat, so don't lift up that right side. Open it as wide as you can until you start to feel the stretch through the inner thigh. And we're holding that for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Center that leg back up. Take the band in the right hand. You're bringing it up and over to the right shoulder, but don't lift that left side up. And we're holding for 10. See if you can take the elbow down to the floor. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and center that leg back up. Brilliant. So taking the band off, we're very slowly going to roll on our sides and come up to sitting position. Again, if you've got back or hip issues, don't use the band. So, Gail, you're not going to. Margaret, I would leave the band as well for you, just, until things settle down a bit. If your back and hips are okay, we're going to wrap the band behind the hamstrings and then tie it. And then we're going to come down onto our right sides, lying on your right arm. The hips want to be in line with the shoulder, and obviously the knees are bent. The hips are stacked on top of each other and the shoulders are stacked on top of each other. We're going to place the hand on top of that top hip, and you want your thumb on your glutes just to make sure you can feel those firing up. Good. So keeping the feet stacked together, deep breath in as you breathe out. We're going to take that knee up towards the ceiling. Now make sure that glute's firing up as you do that. And then we're lowering the knees back together again. On the out breath, squeeze through the glute, knee towards the ceiling. Don't drop back on the hip. Keep it stacked. And we're pulsing for 10, 9. Make sure that glute's firing. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down again. Good. On the out breath, we're taking the knee and ankle in a straight line up towards the ceiling and squeezing back together again. On the out breath, knee and ankle up towards the ceiling, and we're pulsing. Check those glutes are firing for 10, 9. If you get any discomfort, come out of it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Good. I should say pain, not discomfort, because obviously none of it is particularly comfortable. Deep breath in as you breathe out. We're taking the knee and ankle up towards the ceiling, squeezing through the glutes, and we're pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Brilliant. Give that a pat off. Lengthening both legs away from you, keeping the hips and shoulders stacked. We're pointing through the top leg, toe, and we're taking that top leg up towards the ceiling. Flex, push the hip away from you. As you push it, lift the waist up and lower back down. Pointing through the toe to come up, flex, lengthen, and lower. Good. Pointing to come up, flex, lengthen, and lower. Last one. Pointing to come up, flex, lengthen, and lower back down. Brilliant. Pointing the toe to the floor. Now again, this can be a strong one on the hip. So Gail, I would keep just going with the up and down, yeah? Okay, so toe pointing to the floor. Keep it pointing to the floor as you take the leg up. Take the toe to the ceiling to lower back down. Toe to the floor to come up. Toe to the ceiling to lower. Good. Two more. Toe to the floor to come up. Toe to the ceiling to lower. Last one. Toe to the floor to come up. Toe to the ceiling to lower back down. Good. Give that a pat off. Bend that left knee if you can. Grab hold of the left ankle. Take the heel to the glutes and then slide that left knee back till you start to feel a nice stretch through that inner thigh. If there's any pinching in your back, then tuck that tailbone underneath you a little bit. Good, and keep increasing that stretch. Feel a nice stretch through that inner thigh. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax that left leg off. Brilliant. So we're turning onto our left side now. Again, starting with the knees bent, hip and shoulders in line. We're lying down on that left arm. So hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked, hands on top of the hip, keeping the feet glued together. Squeeze that right glute, and we're taking that knee up towards the ceiling. Try not to rock back on that hip, and squeezing back together again. On the out breath, squeeze that right glute, knee to the ceiling, and we're pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Good. On the out breath, knee and ankle up towards the ceiling. Keep them in a straight line, squeezing that glute and lowering back together again. On the out breath, squeezing through the glute, knee and ankle in line, and we're pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Remember, if you're feeling any sharp discomfort, reduce the repetitions of the pulses. On the out breath, knee and ankle up to hip height. Squeeze through the glutes. We're pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and squeeze the knees and ankle. Good. Give that a pat off. As I said last night, Pippa Middleton, eat your heart out. Do you remember the dress where they kept going on about her Pilates? So we're lengthening both legs away, bringing them slightly in front of the midline, pointing forward, taking the leg up towards the ceiling, flex, lengthen through the waist and lower back down, pointing to come up. Flex, lengthen, and lower. Good. Pointing to come up, flex, lengthen, and lower. Last one. Pointing to come up, flex, lengthen, and lower back down. Good. Pointing to the floor. Take the leg up, point to the ceiling to lower back down. Pointing to the floor to come up. Point to the ceiling to lower. 2 more. Point to the floor to come up. point to the ceiling to lower. Last one, point to the floor to come up. Point to the ceiling to lower back down. Excellent. Give it a pat off. Grab hold of your right ankle, heel towards the glute. Slide that right knee back till you start to feel a nice stretch through the front of that thigh. Remember, tuck that tailbone underneath you if you're feeling any discomfort in your back. 7, 6, 5, 4, keep increasing it. 3, 2, 1, and relax that leg off. Brilliant. Okay, so if you can untie your band on your back, do so. Otherwise, if you want to come up to sitting, take the band off and then come back to lying on your back. I will just have those knees up until everyone's ready. Just rocking off that lower back. Good. Okay. So once we're ready, we're going to take the left ankle onto the right knee. In fact, let's do the cross one. So we're going to cross those knees over each other. Arms out to the side, palms to the ceiling, shoulders down the back. Good. So on the out breath, we're going to drop both knees down to the left, head goes to the right. And again, we're just really focusing now on those glutes that we've been working pretty hard today. And just stretching out through there, breathing through that. Good, and we're centering those knees back up again. Slide the ankle back onto the knee. Either just push that left knee away from you, or if you can, draw that right knee up towards your chest. And then we're going to roll ever so slightly onto the right side, just until you start to feel that stretch increase. Then I want you to think about your shoulders staying relaxed on the mat. The back of the neck staying lengthened. Breathing through that stretch. You might find you need to increase the pull a bit. Stretch eases. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1, and center back up. We're going to change legs. I've got competition with an alarm going off here, so apologies. Arms out to the side. So we're going to drop both knees down to the right, head goes to the left. Breathing through that stretch. Good. One more deep breath in. And out. Then we're going to center those knees back up, slide the ankle back onto the knee, either just push that right leg away, or if you can, draw that left leg up towards you. And then we're going to roll onto the left side. So we're increasing that stretch in the right. Good, keep taking a pull on that leg. Just to increase that stretch. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're centering back up again. Take both feet down towards the floor. Very slowly, we're going to roll onto our sides and come up to sitting. I'm just going to shut my window. Legs are out in a V. Jolly noisy alarm. Better. Right. So legs out in a V, flexion through the toes, sitting up tall, crown of the head to the ceiling. So hinging from the hips, we're going to walk the hands forward, shoulders down the back. Then we're going to take the elbow into the inside of the left knee, so left elbow to left knee. Side bend over that left leg and look up towards the ceiling. Brilliant. So bring the right arm over the top. Then we're going to rotate the chest to the floor. Walk the hands over to the right side, right elbow inside of right knee. Bring the left arm over the top, looking up towards the ceiling, so you're getting that lovely rotation through the body. Chest towards the floor again. Walk the hands back to the center and we're rounding back up. So walk your hands back as you round back up and stack that spine. Closing the legs together. And again, hinging from the hips, walking down, come down, take the chest over the knees, keep the shoulders down the back. We're just stretching off calves, hamstrings, and lower back here. Just breathing through that. Good. Rounding back up and stacking that spine. So turning onto all fours. Tucking your toes underneath you. We're going to push up into down dog. Take your feet hip width apart. Shoulders down your back and head through to your knees. Okay, we're going to come up onto your toes and then take the heels back down. As you do that, try and take your head through to your knees a little bit more. One more time, up onto your toes, push your heels back down, take the head through to the knees. Soften through the knees. We're going to walk the hands back towards your feet. On the out breath, we're rounding back up, stacking that spine, come up to standing, roll the shoulders down. Excellent work, everyone.
Thank you.